welcome from St. Francis de Sales High School, Father Jeff Rose.
Almighty God, we thank you for the wonderful opportunity to be present here at Michigan International Speedway on this beautiful day. All the hard work and dedication that go into making this possible. We ask a blessing on all present. We ask you to watch over our servicemen and women as they take care of us today, all first responders and those who serve our communities. We remember the gentleman, Ned Jarrett, who died yesterday, a legend of this sport. We pray for his family and friends. And as always, keep our drivers and teams safe as they compete for us today. We ask all these things with great faith, hope, and love. Amen.
To perform the Canadian National Anthem, please welcome Michigan International Speedway's very own Lisa Bascom.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free, from far and wide. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Star Spangled Banner, please welcome the Wayne Memorial High School Band.
Crowd on hand at the Michigan International Speedway for today's running of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series 12th race of the 2026 NASCAR season. And here for this weekend, of course, a home track for some automotives. Of course, Ford and Chevrolet on the manufacturer side of things, a big race weekend for NASCAR at Michigan. It is the fastest track in NASCAR where we see top speeds higher here than at any other track on the circuit. And we're going to see that again here today for the Craftsman Truck Series. Welcome everybody to today's live commentary stream. We will be here for today's race, though we will not be here for tomorrow's race. I will be at Michigan for the Cup race tomorrow afternoon on the channel. So this is our only live commentary stream of the weekend, but wanted to make sure to get some sort of a stream in for you. And here we go for this one. This truck race last season, one of my favorites to call on the season. It was a fantastic race, set up really that final 20 to 25 laps with some of the best racing you'll see in this series and in this sport. maybe we'll see some of that again here today. Extra long race length. Usually the Truck Series races at Michigan are 100 laps, 200 miles, but today it is going to be 125 laps for 250 miles with the elongated race. So with this being 50 miles longer, that could stretch out for a little bit of fuel strategy when we get into stage number 3. As far as stages 1 and 2 go, 30 laps in length each, so there will not be any sort of fuel issues there. They will be able to make it on fuel to the end of stage 1, and then if they pit at the stage end, make it to the end of stage 2 without having to make a stop. It'll be borderline a 2-stop race when we get to the final stage, which is 65 laps. Should be able to make it on 1 with the caution laps especially, but it is going to be basically 2 full runs to get to the checkered flag. Starting lineup for today's race, you got Ty Majeski on the pole for Thor Sport Racing, a home track as well for Thor Sport Racing based out of Sandusky, Ohio. So we'll see if Majeski can take their first win of the season. Remember, they're still looking for their first win as an organization since 2024. Christopher Bell will start on the front row in the Friesen Hallmar Racing Toyota as well, as he'll be making yet another truck start in the season and looking for his second win of the year as well, as he won at Bristol earlier in the spring. In row number 2 will be the front row motorsport teammates of Chandler Smith and points leader Lane Riggs. Riggs has won back-to-back races coming into this one here today. Connor Mosak with Carson Hocevar will line up in row number 3. Hocevar was one of the contenders for the win a season ago, and of course a Michigan native. In row 4 will be Cole Butcher and Gio Ruggiero. Row 5 rounding out the top 10, another Thor Sport truck of Jake Garcia and Spencer Davis in the 5. Grant Enfinger, who's outside the Chase Cut line coming into the race today, series veteran on the inside of row 6 to his outside Stuart Friesen, who won at Michigan last season. Tyler Ankrum with Corey LaJoy will be in row number 7. Row 8, another Cup regular Ross Chastain and Dawson Sutton. Row number 9 will be Caden Honeycutt, who sits second in the point standings, and Andres Perez. Row number 10, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. from the Cup Series, and Christian Eckes. The Dodge Rams in the field, Brennan Queen, Justin Haley, teammates in row number 11. Row number 12 will be Corey Heim, a 2-time winner this season, and of course a most winningest driver of anybody active in the field in this series, 25 career wins as such entering today. Daniel Hemrick on the outside of that row will be in row 12 with Heim. In row number 13 will be Parker Klickerman in a return race for him, also in a Dodge Ram in the 25. Daniel Dye will be the outside of him in the 20 truck. Again, that is row 13. Behind them in row 14 will be Chris Wright and Spencer Boyd. Row 15 will be Cletus McFarland back for his second career truck start in Mini Tyrell. Frankie Muniz and Josh Ryum in row 16. Row 17, Morgan Beard and Caleb Costner. And rounding out the field, Ben Rhodes and Tanner Gray in row number 18. That is our full field lineup. We did have practice and qualifying earlier this morning. Now it is time for the Craftsman Truck Series race. Interview with Carson Hocevar earlier before the national
anthem. I might have a shot here in the truck race, and hopefully have a shot in the cup race like we did last year. But it's it's just joyful for me. I remember how many times I sat in the grandstands. I sat in the old 3 and 4 grandstands that are now at Berlin. So full circle there too. But just unbelievable how many times I came here as a kid, and then how many times I came here as somewhat late model driver trying to make it and get in front of people and, going to suites for, trying to get a sponsor and stuff, to now, being here and, and being contender is super fun and joyful for me.
Moment of reflection for Carson Hocevar.
And he won at Texas.
Yeah, Carson Hocevar with a win this season of the Cup regulars in the field. Christopher Bell the same. Corey Heim, a part-time driver who has also won in the Truck Series this season. Then you got some truck regulars who have won races like Chandler Smith the Daytona, Lane Riggs who's won the last 2 weeks, and others in the field. A few former Truck Series champions that are still winless this season, like a Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes. Stacked field for today's race. Command to fire engines coming up.
Hey, Carter, that's the word I was looking for. Hey, it's a Hurricane, top 10 in points in the Cup Series right now after a 10th place finish last week at Nashville. Right, back trackside, time for the command, and we check in once again with Josh Sims.
All right, Michigan, here to give the command to fire engines. Please welcome DQS President of Solutions, Mike Gorno, along with Freedom Factory owner, piloting the number 4 Chevy in today's race, Cletus McFarland.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just have 3 things to say. Be like Biff. Do it for Dale. And drivers, start your engines. Oh, that was a...
I had no idea that Cletus McFarland was supposed to give the command to fire engines for a race that he is running in today at Michigan International Speedway. Shout out to those of you tuning into the stream. Okay, yep, the camera is on. I had to make sure that was back on. I had it off during the national anthem at the start of the stream. We got Tim Brown, Bond 1771, Austin Fuller, Bam Hall, Garrett B., Connor Burke, Marcus Villarreal, and others. Welcome in. First and only live commentary stream of the weekend, Michigan International Speedway. We went through the starting lineup already. Time to take a look at the point standings entering race number 12. Remember, this is an 18-race regular season, so after today, there's only 6 truck races left in the regular season before the chase. Top 10 in points. Consistency is key here to make the chase starting this season with the return of an original chase format of such. Lane Riggs is out ahead in the regular season standings, looking for that 2,100 point cushion to start, which would be 25 points over second place. Kate Nunningham, who had the points lead before Lane Riggs went to victory lane last week, is 37 points back now, second in the standings. They were very tight on top of each other just 2 weeks ago, but back-to-back wins for Lane Riggs to get to 3 on the season has been huge for him. And the third spot in points is still Christian Eckes, so now he is 93 points back. Chandler Smith moved up a spot last week in points, but still loses points to his teammate. He's 96 back at 4th, and Giro Ruggiero rounds out the top 5. Ty Majeski sits 6th in the standings. Ben Rhodes 7th. Tyler Ankrum up 2 spots to 8th. Same for Stuart Friesen in 9th. And Daniel Hemrick has the last chase spot as of right now. Both he and Stuart Friesen headed up the leaderboard, tied for 9th, having the last spot ahead of Jake Garcia, who is 11th in the standings. So Garcia is 11th, and then you got Grant Enfinger in 12th. Justin Haley 13th on the outside looking in, and Butterbean Queen is 14th in points as well. All those drivers are still very tight to the cut line. Even Queen back in 14th right now, not out of it if Ram can kind of get something surging here this summer. Lacking a bit of speed, of course, with their first year back in the series, but they're only 35 points back from Hemrick. He could score 75 points in a full race if you win both stages and win the race itself. So very much doable there. And again, no win and you're in for this season. All right. So Ty Majeski, pole sitter for today's race. We'll see how that works out for him. He's had a very topsy-turvy season so far. Seems like 1 week he's on a top 5 run. Not really leading a lot of laps, but contending for a potential race win. And just showing consistent speed, and the next week he's either crashing or just not running well. So last week after a DNF, maybe this week is Ty Majeski's week to have a good run. And again, those Thor Sport teammates always looking to have a good run here at Michigan. A couple of years when the Truck Series was racing at Mid-Ohio, that was kind of the home track for him. Now the home track is back here in Michigan. I guess Eldora, too, for that matter. But no truck race in the state of Ohio anymore, so this is the closest track geographically to their shop. And they got a truck on the pole. Ben Rhodes starting deep in the field. We'll see what kind of speed he has. He had a good showing in the last Truck Series race at Nashville last week. He started deep in the field and he was up inside the top 10 before long. Once again, an extra today's race, 125 laps, an extra 25 compared to usual Truck Series races at Michigan. It's kind of the old O'Reilly Series race length. They would usually run 250, the truck's 200. No O'Reilly Series action this weekend, just trucks and cup. ARCA ran their race yesterday evening. Rain shortened affair there. And I believe Gio Ruggiero was the race winner.
Or I can see right here.
This is Lane Riggs.
Bring over the past truck briefly. Well, we got about 20 minutes to practice, but I haven't tried. I feel really confident before everything. So, yeah, great job, everybody. Going nice smooth day on pit road. Have a solid finish. Hopefully, we'll put on a good show with all these fans in the stands. Thank you. They're about packed out here today. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, the stands do look packed for the Truck Series race in Michigan. This is one of the better Truck Series races around. High draft effect with these longer straightaways, mid-corner speeds, because the Truck Series doesn't really have as much horsepower as the O'Reilly and the Cup Series. They're on throttle a little bit more, so momentum is going to be key. It's almost like a miniature super speedway race. We saw a lot of battles late last season. At one point, they were 4 wide for the race lead on a green flag run. It was as epic of racing as you will see at the Craftsman Truck Series level, and I just can't wait to see what we have today. Christopher Bell on dial next.
You've become a part of this HFR family. Stuart let you run his dirt modified a couple weeks ago. You got 1 win already in this 62 truck. What would it mean today to go out and get a win for this team again?
We're going to have a good shot at it. The Thunder felt really, really good in practice and he made a great judgment. We're struggling at the beginning. I felt like a dart without feathers. But at the end, I was super comfortable. And as long as this thing is driving well, I think it's going to be a lot of fun today.
And that's
Right, buddy,
T2.
go get him.
Thank you. For Halmar Friesen, Christopher Bell won earlier this year at Bristol. So we take a look at the starting.
All right, Fox Sports 1 going to go through their starting lineup next. We've already done so. Looks like the field will be checking pit road times this time by, which means we'll be 2 pace laps away from the drop of the green flag for today's action. Rain killed a good race last night. Yeah, Cedar Point and Sandusky as well. Steve J, welcome to the stream. Too busy to watch. Have a good day. Hey, thanks for stopping by, though. Appreciate it. Our goal is to get to 50 likes for this afternoon's live commentary coverage of the Michigan International Speedway Craftsman Truck Series race. DQS Solutions and Staffing 250. This race didn't have a title sponsor when I was putting the stuff to create the stream a little over a week ago. So late sponsorship has been added for this race. Because initially on NASCAR.com a couple weeks ago, it just said NASCAR Craftsman Truck Race at Michigan. I'm like, oh, okay. Easy enough. I had to go in there and edit it earlier this week. Wondering about that. 200 laps led even on the season for Lane Riggs, who has won the last 2 races, trying to go for 3 in a row entering today. But with the stacked field, some Cup regulars who have won truck races already this season in this field, like Christopher Bell, Carson Hocevar. Then you got the likes, of course, of Corey Heim, who's won 2 races this season, and the usual suspects. Caden Honeycutt, although he's still looking for his first oval win, is second in points. Did have a win at Watkins Glen a couple weeks back. Chandler Smith, the win at Daytona. Teammate, of course, of Lane Riggs. A couple former champions winless on the field like Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, who are top 10 in points. This is going to be a tough task for the driver of the number 34 to try to go for 3 wins consecutively. But I'm not going to doubt him, and he was in contention for the win much of last year, him and Hocevar battling late before having contact of both drivers having some flat tires, causing them to really get taken out of the race win side of things. Estimated fuel window right around 39 laps. Stage 1, 30 laps. Stage 2 will be another 30, and the final stage, 65, to take us to the checkered. 250 miles of racing in Michigan is underway. Green flag is in the air. Ty Majeski will lead us into turn 1. Christopher Bell on the inside of row number 1. Majeski elected the outside lane for this initial start of the race. Bell got a great push through the tri-oval, though, and has the shortest route around the racetrack through the bottom lane of the track, and he will be clear for the lead off turn 2. One truck scraping the fence off turn 2 in the back of the pack. Couldn't tell who that was, but they're fading, and we'll see it's the 19 of Daniel Hemrick. Tough break for Hemrick to start things off, being right on that chase bubble and already having early contact with the wall. Still battling 2 and 3 wide in the middle of the pack for position, and in these fast drafting speeds here at Michigan, mostly single file in the top 5 to top 10. Christopher Bell leads lap 1. Slingshot move into turn 1, lap 2 by Ty Majeski, and Majeski out in front of the field. Bell falls all the way back to 4th place before getting himself back in line, and you're already seeing that high draft effect in full effect in the beginning of this race. A lot easier when the grip level in the tires is high. As they start to fall off over the long run, you're going to see who the best of the best is. But these first 5 to 10 laps on a restart situation are going to be a lot of fun to watch today. Bell's slide job, big one at that. Drifts wide, is now outside of 3 wide, headed down the front stretch. Lane Riggs will shoot through into 2nd place. Carson Hocevar still battling side by side with the 62. Then he gets swallowed up by some oncoming traffic who had an even bigger run down into turn 1 behind him. Look at the way these trucks are fanning out early. Trying to put the pedal to the metal. We got a 3 wide battle for about 5th down the backstretch. The 2 trucks on the inside do not have drafting help from behind like the trucks on the outside do. Lane Riggs has fallen all the way outside of the top 5 now, as he sits in 7th. Carson Hocevar into 2nd, and he's got a huge run after Ty Majeski, our race leader, but he doesn't have a lot of help from behind, so we'll be able to see if he's going to pull out, try to make a run, or if he's going to be patient and kind of let the 62 of Bell, who's in 3rd, draft up close to him and then make a move. Bell could be aggressive and also make the move for himself if he has a big enough run. He's got Gio Ruggiero, fellow Toyota driver, right behind him. Bigger gap between the 4th and 5th place trucks, it looks like, of Ruggiero and Chandler Smith. Hocevar took a shot to the inside into turn 3, but he's not going to be able to clear Majeski. They're going to be side by side on the front stretch, and as they aggressively side draft each other, they're getting slowed up until Christopher Bell is able to bump draft and push Majeski forward. Ty Majeski leads that lap at the line. Bell to 2nd. Up to 3rd is Ruggiero, and back in line and 4th quickly now is Hocevar. You try to make a pass, you can't complete it. You need drafting help on the bottom. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of that right now. We've seen several drivers lose positions after trying to make a pass attempt. It's hard to kind of hop out of line. You just got to time the run out well. But we've also seen Ty Majeski retake the lead from Bell on that opening lap after Bell took it. So passes can be made. You just got to time out the runs perfectly, because if the pass attempt fails, you're in danger of losing several spots. Truck against the outside wall in turns 3 and 4. Back half of the field, Tanner Gray in the 15 truck is slow, and he's trying to get down to pit road. Has to wait for the field to bypass him. And now he's got that bottom lane open, so Gray into the pits. That's 2 trucks having to make unscheduled pit stops in the early laps after contact with the wall. Turns 3 and 4 for Tanner Gray, and in turns 1 and 2 for Daniel Hemrick on the opening lap. Hemrick has since fallen a lap down. Carson Hocevar to the inside of Christopher Bell for the lead after Bell was able to go from 3rd to 1st off camera, passing Ty Majeski at the end of the front stretch after there was contact with the wall for Tanner Gray. Carson Hocevar slingshots into turns 3 and 4. Could not pass the 88 for the lead 2 laps ago. This lap, though, gets by the 62, and we got problems on the front stretch. 2 trucks are around Frankie Muniz, and it looks like the 81 of Chris Wright are involved.
Frankie Muniz was flashing it up here with Wright. Gets away in that 33. Look at the damage to the left side. That has every look shot of someone on the inside of him getting loose.
Exactly what I was thinking, Michael. These trucks are so aero dependent on the side, and then there you see on the side of Frankie's truck wheel marks. That's the sure they got together.
It looks just like this 33 went into the 81, but we'll have to get a great replay after this break and see what happened.
The Morgan and Morgan on board for the 33 of Muniz. He's got issues, Gray and Wright as well. First caution here at Michigan. It's been wild early.
All right. Under caution here for the first time today. Lap 7, a two-truck spin after slight contact between Frankie Muniz and Chris Wright in turns 3 and 4. Carson Hocevar, the race leader at the time of the yellow, his first lead of the day. Christopher Bell in second, Ty Majeski third, Gio Ruggiero fourth, Chandler Smith rounding out the top 5 in fifth. Lane Riggs in 6th place, Jake Garcia 7th, Christian Eckes in 8th, Connor Mosack 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Caden Honeycutt, who is already up 7 spots. Cole Butcher in 11th, Stuart Friesen, last year's winner, in 12th. So that is the top dozen in the running order, likely going to be that way for the next restart out. We'll see teams use their first set of tires up, limited, of course, in the Truck and O'Reilly series usually, compared to Cup with the shorter race lengths, smaller budgets. Majeski hasn't won a race since 2024. Yeah, ThorSport Racing in general hasn't won since 2024, which is crazy because they were the top team in the Truck Series for a while. You know, that's where Ty Majeski had a championship, and Ben Rhodes has 2 titles. Matt Crafton, of course, 3-time Truck champion. But those days are definitely behind ThorSport. You never know, they could get back at some point, but these bigger teams, if you will, that run Cup Series stuff, like Aspire, like Front Row Motorsports, kind of the powerhouse of the Truck Series field. Tricon Garage having a heavy alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing, kind of helping their system, and that's why we see the speed that they do over the last couple of years. It's really the only development system in the Truck Series for Toyota. I don't know how much maybe the switching of manufacturers that ThorSport has done has maybe hurt their program, because they've done a lot of changing with that. This is the second consecutive year they've been with Ford, but before that they were with Chevy, and then they were with Ford again like a year or two before. And I don't know if like maybe the resources just aren't there for them with those changes and keeping up with sim work with the new bodies that they were having to deal with in that transition period, but something happened that they just aren't winning races anymore. So competitive enough to get 2 to 3 of their trucks, you know, in the playoffs or in the chase every year, but you know, like none of them are in the top 5 in points right now. You got Majeski Rhodes 6th and 7th in points. Jake Garcia's outside of the chase cut line in 11th. And then the other 2 trucks, I believe, are driven by part-time drivers. Cole Butcher actually is racing full-time this season, 20th in the standings in the 13.
3 trucks involved in the latest incident. It's Spencer Davis in the 5 down pit road. Ian Muniz and Chris Wright on lap 7, bringing out our first caution of the afternoon.
Well, you see, Frankie Muniz was very aggressive, dove to the bottom of the racetrack, taking them 3 wide, and just wasn't able to appear to hold that 33 low. Watch him drift up right there, loose into the side of Davis, into the side of Wright. Unfortunately, they're all driving away from this mess.
Yeah, once Frankie got down in there, and you saw he run across the apron a little bit even. The truck got a little loose on him. Once that happened and he was up next to the 5 truck, he was not, there was no hope. They're going to wreck.
I want to hop on board, watch what he sees. Oh, see that little correction? That was just all the mistake he made. You know, he needed to have this happen. Just loose real quickly and then bam, contact.
Fortunately, they didn't collect anybody else. These guys were kind of at the back of the pack. A little damage on the left side of Chris Wright's truck.
Mr. Morgan probably had a little bit of a scare there on the head.
And earlier it was the 15, who, by the way, just got the free pass, but Tanner Gray, right before that, got into the wall.
It looked like somebody squeezed him. You see the left front, there's damage there, and he was moving. He started last, and he was all the way up inside the top 20. So he had a lot of speed in that 15.
Yeah, Tanner's really happy with this truck today. I did hear Jeff Hensley over the radio say that one of those Dodges got us. Because Tanner had the lucky dog, they did decide to come back down pit road. They wanted to clear out. They used the bat underneath that left front fender where the tire is to make sure that there would be no tire rub. But I talked to Jeff Hensley about this season, and he just said it's just been something every race. One of the team guys said it's gear character building. And Jeff Hensley responded, "Here's enough character, guys."
You don't need any more of that character. DNF at Nashville last week. Accident on lap 69 and finished 33rd at a top 10 2 weeks ago at Charlotte.
Well, and he has the speed to have a top 10 here, too. You were noting the moves he was making through the field. See that wrinkled up left front fender there on the number 15 truck. Yeah, Jeff's got him a good truck today under that kid, and, making Tanner drive up through the field, do a good job. But halfway through this field, it's going to slow down a little bit. He's going to get to some better trucks, have a little more competition, but he definitely has a horse to ride to the finish line. I think, there's our choose area. These drivers have to pick low or above, and if you touch that, you go to the rear, so they're picking their way. It looks like pretty much 50-50, low, high.
So on the inside, Majeski to the inside, row 1.
Very interesting, Michael, how these guys actually choose which lane they're going to go in. 9 side, well, let's say 10 times out of 10, it's actually chosen by the spotter. They count them off. I mean, obviously the driver has the final say, and it makes a difference of which lane you get in.
All right, got some audio from the 88 before the wreck.
We have to bring on the grill. We have to try to finish him. I know it's first grade. Maybe just trying to get her on.
Imagine that's gone now. That was before the caution. When you're leading the race and something gets on your grill, you have to pretty much fall back. And we saw Majeski lose a lead, probably a move to get the air off the other trucks to remove the debris from his nose, and that's why he wasn't in the lead when we went caution.
Had 3 leaders here in the first stage, which is 30 laps, second stage 30, and then the long one, stage 3 of 65 laps. For 18 of Tyler Ankrum was the first to pit from 16. 7 trucks during that caution came down pit road, and the number 10 of Corey LaJoy was caught for speeding.
All right, so after about 4 laps of caution set to go green here at lap 12, we will have 18 laps to go at stage number 1, and Carson Hocevar, the leader on the restart. All right, green flag back in the air. Here we go again. Hocevar side by side with the race lead with Ty Majeski, but a good push on that outside lane, not only keeping Hocevar out in front, but the 62 having some forward momentum, getting to the outside of Majeski and should be clear for second off turn 2. Majeski going backwards from the inside of row 1. Has a little bit of a bump draft from behind, but he is already fallen out of the top 5, swallowed up in the middle lane of 3 wide. And if you don't have any draft both in front of you, and if you have to lift severely coming off the exit of the corner before, like he did in that tight battle for second initially with Christopher Bell, that's how quickly you can fall backwards. Everybody else is on the gas and you're not. Still struggling for momentum is Ty Majeski, and he is falling out of the top 10 now fast, and I wonder what's going on here with this 88 because he is dropping like a rock. It's almost like he's down on power at this point. The fact that he ended up losing double-digit positions that quickly in the running order. Last time by at the start-finish line, Ty Majeski was scored, trying to find him on our leaderboard here, 13th. After restarting in second. He found himself in line on the high side and getting more of a bump draft from behind there, but again, back to 13th for Ty Majeski. Bell's got a good run out of turn 2, trying to keep up in the draft down the back straightaway now. Carson Hocevar, nobody really doing anything to try to break the draft of the leader at this moment. Maybe trying to conserve tires a bit. And they're showing a replay of what happened to Majeski, and he got up against the wall off turn 4, but that was after he had already lost quite a few positions. That was him just trying to squeeze his way back into line again, so hopefully he doesn't make a bad problem worse. We've already seen a couple of drivers have to pit with tires getting cut down after either wall contact or contact with another truck in the first green flag run of 7 laps to start the race. So down the back straightaway, Bell tight in the draft behind Carson Hocevar, the leader. Distance between the 2 trucks, only about 1/10 of a second. Bell searching for speed in that middle to upper groove of the racetrack. Clean air on the nose helps the turn. Now get the draft in the straightaway. Slightly more banking, the wider the line. He's tucked tightly to the back of Hocevar, headed into turn 1, but he's not going to pull out and try to make a pass yet. The good news is, if he did try to pull out and make a pass now, I think those other trucks behind him are enough. There's enough space between the two that he should be able to keep enough momentum and stay in line in second place. The problem would be is if he's side by side for the lead too long and then doesn't get the help, allowing for other trucks to close in fast, single file and drafting wise behind him. So in the early going, Carson Hocevar has led the most laps so far today. He is in the lead. Christopher Bell in second. Chandler Smith is third. Fourth place is Christian Eckes. And rounding out the top 5 and fifth is now Caden Honeycutt, who is already up 12 positions from the start of the race, only halfway through stage 1. One truck falling a lap down on the inside of the racetrack up out of turn 2. And I believe that was Josh Reum in the 22. So Reum falling a lap down. Lane Riggs up another position. Battling with Jake Garcia in the 98 for 7th. Riggs taken to the bottom of the track into turns 1 and 2 to get that spot on Garcia, and he's got it with ease. He'll slide up the racetrack, no attempt or a chance at a crossover for Garcia. And holds in tightly in line behind him once again. "12 laps to go this time by stage 1.
Yeah, this place reminds me a lot of older Daytona, where you can get a run on when the racetrack is wore out. You can get a run on the floor. It's the choice. Try and get in front of him. That's what we just saw Lane do right there.
I think Christopher's just sizing up the outside of this racetrack. Is there something out there that I can use to get around Hocevar? Not only will he use that move now, he'll put that in his mental bank and say, later in the day, there's something up there I can take advantage of.
The start of the year for that 62 truck of Christopher Bell. He won at Bristol. Back-to-back runner-up finishes in the Cup Series, including last week in a dramatic finish at Nashville. Stage 1, lap 20 in the Truck Series in Michigan.
Commercial break, it sounds like, is what they're going to on Fox Sports 1 for the Craftsman Truck Series in Michigan International Speedway. Another truck going a lap down at the tail end of the field at the hands of our current race leader, Carson Hocevar, and that would be, I believe, Justin Haley. Losing some time there. Not sure what's going on with Haley at the moment, but seems to be a bit slow. He was one of the drivers on the outside of the chase bubble coming in today. So 2 bubble drivers already having issues. Daniel Hemrick, who's on the inside, barely coming into the day, and one of the drivers barely on the outside of that cut line. Justin Haley now having trouble early. Hayden Honeycutt up another spot to 4th, getting by Christian Eckes in recent laps. 6 positions gained since the restart at lap 7 in the last 13 laps now for Honeycutt. Again, started 17th in the race, so up 13 spots. His best lap was actually at lap 13 on the restart, where everybody else inside the top 5 had their best lap before the first caution. Have to go back to Ross Chastain, who's up to 9th place, who also ran his fastest lap after this restart. That was lap 15 for him, and he too started outside the top 10 and has finally worked himself up there, and he's up 4 spots from the restart as well. Corey Heim started deep in the field after a 23rd place position starting spot for Corey Heim. Always a threat to win whenever he is in the Craftsman Truck Series. Again, 25 career wins all time. And it's crazy because he's only had 3 full-time seasons in truck, and then winning 2 more races in a part-time effort this year, adding to that total. Man, he's been a great driver in this series. Of course, getting double-digit wins nearly half the races last season alone. And a championship. 20 minutes of elapsed time from the drop of the green flag to where we're at right now. Lead is about a tenth of a second for Carson Hocevar over Christopher Bell, as they have been nose to tail pretty tightly the entire stretch of this green flag run. 7/10 of a second, the gap back to Chandler Smith in third. Hayden Honeycutt 8/10 back in fourth. And Lane Riggs rounding out the top five at 3.4 seconds out of the lead. So that's the top five in the interval between those positions on the leaderboard. 6 laps to go, this time by in stage number 1. 2-truck race at the front of the field for Carson Hocevar and Christopher Bell. Could be an epic finish for stage 1 between these two Cup Series drivers, one of them a Michigan native. Oddly enough, Hocevar is the one between the two to have a win in the Cup Series this season. Bell and Hocevar have both won in the trucks.
Away from the field, huh?
See it right here. He's in this truck. He's figuring out, see what he's got when he's behind him, so we can adjust the end of the race. This one seems to chance more on him. Rich Beck is one of the biggest movers of the day, up 14 spots. He just came over the radio and told the team he's struggling with overall grip. He can't wrap the top like he wants to. The team asked him, run the lines, can you run the middle, can you run up near the wall? He said, it does not matter where I run, I'm just too tight to be aggressive the way I want to right now. And guys, how difficult is that when you want to be able to be racy but the truck just won't allow you?
It's frustrating, Josh, because you have this brain that tells you to make moves, and you see a move for the lead. It makes us look bad. You know, he just got tired of waiting around. He said, I'm going to go get this lead. We got to learn things, try things, and that's part of what that was right there. But, you know, Josh, you just want to go as a racer. You know, these races are short. They're going to happen quickly. There's only 4 laps left in this first stage. You got to learn and make it go, and when you can't do that, you just can't wait to get to pit road and hopefully communicate to your crew chief what's wrong, and he can fix it for you so you can make those bold moves.
3 meters, 4 lead changes. It's been allowed from the 62 now. So, like I said, how he got it done.
Big run down the front. And
You got that bigger run. It's hard as a racer to not pull out. So I'm just going to pass you, guy. Get out of the way.
that could have everything to do with the end of the race, too, Todd. Seeing how much he needs to lay off of the truck ahead of him to get that perfect run into the corner like he got. How you create that gap, but air you want between the two trucks to make that move.
3 laps to go, this time at stage number 1. We got some battles inside the top 10. Currently 1 for 9th between Jake Garcia, Ross Chastain, and Grant Enfinger. 3 trucks there, 2 of which outside the chase cut line, and 11th and 12th in the standings. That would be Garcia and Enfinger. Needing those points is every single one matters. Cletus McFarland watch, for those of you tuning in for him. Haven't mentioned him on the broadcast yet, but he is in 27th place. After starting 29th, staying out of trouble early, missed the early incident. He was behind a 3-car spin, if you will, between Spencer Davis, Frankie Muniz, and Chris Wright. Wright 4 laps down with damage from the incident, but he is still on track while Muniz is on the lead lap. And Spencer Davis, currently the first truck, 1 lap down in 31st, hoping for the free pass as long as nobody else falls off the lead lap before the end of the stage. So Christopher Bell took the lead from Carson Hocevar a couple laps ago, trying to hang on to the end of the stage. Nose-to-tail battle as they come to the final lap of stage 1. Hocevar trying to close the gap on the front stretch right now. A little bit longer front stretch than back straightaway here at Michigan. But Hocevar has made a couple of moves into turn 3, one of which successful to take the lead initially. He's not going to wait till turn 3, though. He felt the momentum enough so to try to pull out a line and make a move in turns 1 and 2, but it did not work to the bottom of the racetrack. He loses a ton of ground down the backstretch. He is not going to be able to close in a half a lap, I don't believe. Christopher Bell should be able to hold on pretty easily here and win stage number 1. So from outside of row one, second starting spot, Christopher Bell will win stage one at Michigan. Hocevar, who started sixth, will finish second. Caden Honeycutt to third on the move still. Chandler Smith fourth. Lane Riggs rounds out the top five and fifth. Corey Heim up 9 positions on the restart. Started 23rd, finishes sixth at stage one. Look out for Corey Heim. He seems to have one of the faster trucks in the field again today. Christian Eckes in seventh. Gio Ruggiero in eighth. Jake Garcia ninth. And Connor Mosak will get the final stage point in 10th. So that is your stage one top 10 results, by which only the top 10 get stage points, 1 point per position, starting with 10 points for first, all the way down to 1 point for 10th. So our first 30 lap stage in the books. Next 30 laps going to be right there. I don't have a chat poll going. Let me get that up for you all. Apologize, I did not have that in the pre-race. Who wins the Truck Series race at Michigan? For a home track driver, Carson Hocevar in there. Stage one winner, Christopher Bell. And I'll throw Corey Heim in there because he looks really, really fast to start. And then other. If you think one of the truck regulars will win. Or anybody else. Three cup drivers in the field. They haven't called Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s name yet. He had a good run at Nashville last week. Stenhouse is 16th. And then Ross Chastain spent some time in the top 10. He finished 10th in stage one. Ran about as high as 9th. Got passed in the closing laps by Garcia. Lost a point there. Grant Enfinger finished 11th in the stage. Just missed out on stage one stage points. One caution for incident in stage one. It was at lap 7. In a 3-car incident towards the back of the pack. Pit road will be open this time by. Tire Field should be coming in for the first stops of the day.
All right, they will dump out pit road. Fill up with Sunoco race fuel with zero carbon bioethanol. We head first to Amanda.
And it'll definitely be 4 tires for Christopher Bell as his team gets ready to go over the wall. Christopher Bell told me that it's a slight reunion back with Jimmy Villeneuve. He was his truck chief back in 2017. Wants that truck a little bit freer, guys. And on to Caden Honeycutt. Comes in after that disaster in Nashville. Said that stuff happens, but with this truck, the only thing he was upset with Josh Chandler Smith.
Being happy, overall happy with that 77 for Carson Hocevar. Just a little bit tight in 1 and 2. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment and pull some tape if these get too hot in traffic, guys.
Good stuff, Amanda and Josh. Race off pit road. It'll be Bell coming off second. See Hocevar getting out pretty well as well. We will sort it out when we come back and get set to drop the green flag on stage 2 from Michigan.
All right. So we are going to be on to the second stage at the Michigan International Speedway. Carson Hocevar, the race leader. Well, we'll wait for our leaderboard to update first. Every time the leader gets back to the start-finish line, it updates with this being a 2-mile oval at Michigan. Under caution, it's going to take a little longer to complete a lap. Six lead changes already in stage 1. A lot of those on the restarts, they are very wild at Michigan. They have been over the years with how wide this racetrack is, groove to groove. Run all the way down on that white line near the bottom, and it's high up to the wall if you really chose to. Well, yeah, Cletus has already made more laps in the truck race today than he did in his truck debut at Daytona back in February, so good run there for him. I honestly didn't know he was running the truck race until earlier in the week. I don't follow him and his YouTube channel much. I did initially when he was trying to get into NASCAR. He was running some tests with the ARCA because I'm a big Greg Biffle guy. And that was his mentor. Hocevar did not win the race off pit road. I knew our leaderboard wasn't exactly right, so I didn't want to go through it then. Christopher Bell won the race off pit road. Corey Heim jumps up to second place. Not only has a bad fast race truck went from 23rd to 6th in stage 1, but then gains 4 more positions in the pits. Solid for that one team. So Bell leads, Corey Heim in second, Carson Hocevar third, Tanner Gray fourth, Caden Honeycutt will restart in fifth with his teammate Gio Ruggiero in sixth. So that is the top 5 in the running order. Come back from commercial, let you listen into a little bit more of the Truck Series race coverage on Fox Sports 1. Good to hear Eric Brennan as the play-by-play, lap-by-lap commentator for the Truck Series for the second straight race. Should say the third straight race, because I believe he did Charlotte and Nashville leading up to this weekend in Michigan. I believe the Truck Series is off next weekend. NASCAR goes to Pocono, and it will be an O'Reilly and Cup Series weekend only.
Tonight, Ed Jarrett passed away at the age of 93. Time Cup Series champion, 50 career Cup wins on the Southern 500 by 14 laps in 1965. NASCAR Hall of Fame inductee in 2011. Longtime broadcaster with CBS, ESPN, and MRN, and such a cool moment. 1993, he was on the call when his son Dale Jarrett won the Daytona 500. That Jarrett, passing away at the age of 93. Great Hall of Fame driver, great man, entertaining, really fun broadcaster to watch and listen to.
It's the Dale and Dale show. I still tear up when I think of that memory of Ned calling his son home. And when I was a kid growing up, Ned called races with my brother won, and he was able to say my brother's name on the radio. And I remember thinking, I hope he says my name one day. And then with friends with Ned and the family, just a wonderful family, wonderful man. And I'm really thankful that I could call him my friend.
Yeah, my memories of Ned is growing up in New England, or being in New England racing modifieds, working on modifieds. Voice that Ned had was so iconic and so recognizable. We would have the TV on in the race shop working on the modifieds, and you would listen to Ned calling a race, Ned and Benny, and that was my memory. And that's what I knew Ned. When I moved down here, he was so kind to me as a young racer. He didn't have to treat me that way, but he did. He was kind and gentle and always wishing you the best of luck.
That's right. And I've golfed with him a few times, and he would always hit the ball and say, "Run like you stole, son." And so every time I golf, and I think of that, and I smile about that.
Sure, he will be on your mind. Your next round.
That's right.
Coming up this week. It'll be awfully soon. We know that. So come around, getting set for the start of the second stage here. 36. Christopher Bell taking stage 1, followed by Carson Hocevar.
Taking the outside. I like that choice. See him lined up behind him there. The pushes will be coming.
Folks ask me all the time, why are their tires decorated after a pit stop? You see my left rear on that 77 truck and Christopher Bell's. That's so the tire carriers know how to index the wheels when they put them on. Speeds up the pit stop.
Now, guys, with that guy that started 23rd, is now running in 4th.
Yeah, he's in a good spot.
And he drove 16 spots under green to get up to 6th position. He has got a truck that's really good right now. So let's keep an eye on old Mr. Hine.
Time 25 career wins in the Truck Series. Of course, dominated last year. 12 wins on his way to the championship. Again, finding out this week, he will full time in the Cup Series next year with 23 left. Here in Michigan as we begin stage 2.
Let me just tell you, Brent, over the next hour or so, these restarts will just get crazier and crazier. You can see the tight tucks, the pushes that we're seeing on this restart. They're going to fan out 4 or 5 wide down into the corners. It's just going to get crazier and crazier.
Trucks that went the strategy route on that pit stop, taking only 2 tires, the 15 of Tanner Gray, who had problems early on in the race, so gaining track position. He runs 8th in the 15.
And you see him there on the right of the screen. They had that problem early, and he's got a fast truck. Decided to put it in the top 10, take a chance. I like that.
It's Bill followed by Hosamar, and there's your guy, Corey Heim, up into 3rd.
Samar with the move to the bottom. But what about Heim? He says, I'm going high if you're going low.
Heck is on the bottom of the 91. Emerson and Hosamar got front here in Michigan as they head down the back stretch.
Right now we settle back in here. We see the running order, who's got who, where they're running. But feel my truck out a little bit.
Oh, Hunter Mozak up the hill. You can see loses all of his momentum. And staying by. Here comes Majeski. Look at that now.
Lane Riggs gets the whack from both of them and goes right by him.
Kenny sideways, the 34 and the 88 of Majeski.
That was big right there. That was wild.
Riggs up to 9th in the 34, looking for 3 straight wins in this series.
And there's Perez there in the 44, battling with Stuart Friesen. 42 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. trying to climb his way up toward the top 10.
Small group just outside of the top 10.
Great trucks doing battle here, too. Trucks that you wouldn't be surprised to see up in the top 5. Look at this battle for the lead.
11, 77, 11. Narrowly avoiding the collision.
You folks at home heard Tom lose his mind? You ought to have seen him. He about jumped up out of his chair when that went sideways with Honeycutt.
That could have been big right there. Caden did a great job of hanging on to getting inside of Carson.
One of Heim is helping the second man at 4.
If this relationship had been tended to, and Corey told me today, no. But at that Michigan last year, we raced together just fine. Hopefully we can have that here today. But on Corey, he said at that pit stop that the front tires were worn out, but the rear has good grip.
We like some good old-fashioned hands.
You're going to have that. Y'all heard on the broadcast time. Oh, let's watch one whole minute. Look at the 11 truck, the red truck. He makes a big move to the bottom. Right there. And watch what happens. Oh.
That was a big moment right there. Caden, it's so easy when you get in that position to overcorrect your truck. And if he would have done that, he'd have been right up on the side of Carson, and they'd both been for a ride. But he did a great job. Didn't overcorrect it. But you can see how much he pretty much lost the draft. It's hard to understand about losing a draft at Daytona. Well, it's kind of exactly what happens here, and he's pretty much lost that draft. Can't run the same lap times those leaders can run.
I'm trying to take a peek on the bottom.
we saw the same scenario with Kosovar and Bell early. Now Heim has gotten up there, but it seems like that maybe Bell's got a bit of a better truck than most everybody else. He's able to get the lead, keep the lead, even with all the drafting you talked about, Todd.
Well, you see right there, Corey, up behind him, like, got a little tight because he got too close. And we watch Grant Enfinger going by Jake Garcia. A nice move going into 3.
13th there back in the field. The same finger. Kept away from Garcia.
Corey Heim's trying to do all he can to figure out a way to make the move. And that's all about later, too, Todd. You want to get the position now, but you also want to learn what it takes. I think that's what you're watching here.
I'm also watching Christopher's line. Seems like every lap he's inching up a little higher. Right there, that's about as high as through 3 and 4. Trying to keep that momentum up.
And here comes Kosovar to join this battle. Truck length at a time as we run lap after lap. Honeycutt with all that ground he lost in the red truck. And there's a pretty big one.
Chandler Smith over the year with that win at Daytona. This group right here is going to catch him, and he'll be just the leader of this pack. And I wouldn't be surprised if they start running him back down. Josh got an update on Lane Riggs.
Well, guys, so many of the radios I'm listening to have guys complaining about their trucks being too tight. It's been the opposite for Lane Riggs in that 34 machine, saying he was way too loose. They made an adjustment during that last stop. He was trying to get in line with his teammate Chandler Smith. They wanted to make some moves together and use the draft. He said, hey, just stay connected. It's that 38.
Trying to make a big move to the bottom, and then truck just got away from it. Keep the gas down. Lost 6-8 truck lengths there, just off turn 4.
16 of stage 2. It's Bell followed by Heim. We got break. He won't miss a thing as we go Fox side by side.
Fast-paced racing up at the front of the pack. Christopher Bell, the race leader. Corey Heim in second. We'll go through the rest of the full field running order as we are at lap 46 of 125 today. And we're just past halfway now in stage 2. Check that, lap 47 of 125. And that would make lap 17 of 30 in stage 2. So Christopher Bell, the race leader. Corey Heim in second. Carson Hocevar is third. Caden Honeycutt fourth. Chandler Smith rounds out the top 5 in 5th. 6th place is Christian Eckes with Lane Riggs at 7th, Gio Ruggiero 8th, Ross Chastain 9th, Ty Majeski in 10th, Connor Mosack in 11th, Grant Enfinger 12th, Stuart Friesen 13th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 14th, and Jake Garcia 15th. 16th is Corey LaJoy, Ben Rhodes 17th, Andres Perez 18th, Brendan Queen 19th, and Tyler Ankrum 20th. Parker Kligerman in 21st, 22nd, Tanner Gray, Minnie Tyrell 23rd, Cole Butcher 24th, and Daniel Dye 25th. Cletus McFarland 26th, Spencer Boyd 27th, Spencer Davis 28th, Frankie Muniz 29th, and Morgan Baird in 30th. Daniel Hemrick is the first truck off the lead lap at 31st. Justin Haley 32nd, Josh Hume 33rd, Caleb Costner 34th, Chris Wright 35th, and Dawson Sutton rounds out our 36 truck field here today. And I do believe all 36 trucks are still on track, with 30 of which on the lead lap. 10 lead changes, 48 laps complete out of 125, 44 minutes of counting into today's race. 2 cautions, 1 for incident back at lap 7 and the stage break at lap 30. 9 laps of caution between those 2 yellows so far. Christopher Bell is the current race leader, and as far as laps led go, he has led for 24 laps led for Carson Hocevar, which is the most in the race thus far. Stage 1 winner was Christopher Bell. 4 laps also led for Ty Majeski, who is back up to 9th after starting on the pole. So that is the race update to this point here, still in the first half of today's action. Lane Riggs onto pit road for an unscheduled pit stop. I'm not sure what's going on here for the 34 team, but they will pit from the top 5. Trying to go for 3 wins in a row here today, and this is going to really do them in. Now stalling the truck, trying to get out of the pits, and had a little bit of assistance from his pit crew members to try to help push him off and give him that jump start. Riggs is rolling now, but he is going to fall off the lead lap. and back to the 30th place position. And this is going to open up that regular season points battle a bit because he was 37 points ahead of Caden Honeycutt. Honeycutt's up in the top 5. Both of them scored decent stage points at stage 1, but now Riggs is behind the 8 ball.
My side. Lane Riggs starting 4th. He's now back in 30th. Scheduled pit stop. Let's
Team up over the wall, change the rights. Like maybe that's where he thought the problem was, but then watch on the wall. No. Over here. The left front's the problem.
Gonna be tough now. We saw him come back to the field late last week in dramatic fashion to win at Nashville's 2nd straight win. This is gonna be an awfully tough, tall hill to climb.
Well, he's running up front, so only lost 1 lap. The only problem he has, there's another really fast truck at Daniel Hemrick. It's a lap down, and they're going to begin to catch the back of the field, and you see that left front tire. See any damage to the left side of that truck? We'll have to see what precipitated that.
Daniel, we only have 9 laps to go in the stage. Daniel will definitely get the free pass.
I don't know. There's a couple of slow trucks that I think that maybe Bell will get to before the stage ends. So these trucks are fast. They can battle for that free pass once there's a reset.
You know, at front, it's continuing to hold off the one of Corey Heim.
There's some Latin trucks that our leaders are catching. Caleb Costner in the 2093 to the bottom. 22 of Brown down low. And then there's a truck that's on the lead lap, Baird. So that would be the free pass now, taking Hemrick out of that position. Just Daniel died. Daniel got speed they thought he would have so far. See if they can hang on to the lead lap for the stage.
7 to go here in the 2nd stage. It's Bell. Then Heim in the 1 for Tricon.
You clear track in front of these two right now to get them to the end of the stage. We'll see if Corey Heim can do anything with Christopher Bell. To me, it looks like he's struggling a little bit. He can't run his line in the corner. He's drafting with him down the straightaway, which is keeping him with him. But Christopher, that line, you see Corey trying to sneak down, but it looks like his truck is just too tight. He can't roll that.
It's like a replay of the end of the first stage with 2 guys out front trying to battle for the win, but then look behind them. Here comes Superstar. They get side by side. He's going to go 3 wide. You know that.
He's always in the mix in the 77 as he wraps the bottom. I'm there in the 1 truck. He won at Darlington. He won at Rockingham. 3 top 5s on the season making his start. There's the 77 making noise. Right side with Heim.
That move in the middle was very aggressive for Carson. They're trying to ground that spot, but he gets the jump.
I was just going to say, Carson's truck is a little bit freer than these other two. That's why he's running down and being able to run the bottom like that. But got a little loose, lost all his momentum.
It's Cletus McFarland on the right. You can see Clean truck ahead of Cletus. 10 seconds over leader, so he's learning. He laps in and a stand on the lead lap. This is valuable experience for Cletus.
They can hang running 24th in the 4 truck, and Amanda has more.
Here to Michigan this weekend, but how fans on their feet as he did the command to get this race started. He told the team he's a bit hurt here today, which is opposite of what he was dealing with in the Harvard race yesterday. But as you guys, your 2nd race, can you even imagine the hurt that he's gone under? Let's take a listen. Help it over here.
Down there. I can see you were digging through the bottom there. There's a little throttle track adjustment. You'll get off the corner better. That was good. The truck can, if you're by yourself, or if you're entering one, get to the bottom later, stay lower later when you're by yourself.
And he always knows he's on camera. Nobody gets more excited about the little things than that man making his second start of the year after a disappointing 37th at Daytona to open.
I think it was signaling to Chris Wright to stay in line. Let's make some ground. He knows those leaders are coming. Those two trucks running nose to tail is faster than if they got side by side. As there you see our leaders on the same straightaway as lead us, but I think he's going to be able to hang on. Only 2 to go. Look at this.
Right there at the tailgate is the one of Heim, trying to somehow get around Christopher Bell here in the closing moments of stage 2.
What about Carson Osamar? He's falling out of touch with these two.
2.5 seconds back for the 77. This is the battle for fourth. Honeycutt in the 11. Chandler Smith in the 38.
Learning, doing everything they can to get the right information to the team to try to be able to get to pit road, make a pit stop and get the adjustments they need to be in a position to win this race.
Final lap, stage 2 at a time. Going to the bottom, trying to make the move on Christopher Bell.
Cannot make it stay. It's just, he drove it down in there, and you're good till you get to the center of the corner, but they're carrying so much speed, the truck is going to get tight if it's not turning well. That's exactly what happened. He had to get out of the throttle. He was going to run into the side of Christopher. So
into 3 and 4 for the final time in stage 2. The 62 of Christopher Bell. So far, so good in his return to the Truck Series. Green and white checkers flag in the air, and it's Christopher Bell taking stage 2 here at Michigan. It's the 4th time Bell has swept both stages, and he's won 2 of the previous 3.
In the Truck Series, of course.
Christopher Bell is on a heater in the Cup Series. So far today in the Truck Series, he's swept them both. Stage 3 to come.
Yeah, Bell led quite a few laps at Nashville Super Speedway last weekend, just coming up short on a win in what it was a 1-2-3 finish for Joe Gibbs Racing that weekend. Bell looking for redemption in the truck race here this afternoon in Michigan on a Saturday, just 6 days later. Bell leads Corey Heim in the second place position, Carson Hocevar in third for the top 3 of stage number 2. Kate Honeycutt fourth, Chandler Smith 5th, and Christian Eckes was 6th place. 7th was Ross Chastain, Gio Ruggiero 8th, Grant Enfinger 9th, and Ty Majeski getting the final stage point of stage number 2. We'll leave our chat poll open until the end of the final pit stop. We'll wait till we get to the final fuel window. I didn't open the chat up until after the race had begun, so I'll give you guys a little extra time to vote today. DHP, thanks for tuning in. Heim was on the way, that is for sure. Clean air is king, I think. You can draft off of those lead cars to stay with them if you're fast enough, but the likes of Corey Heim, Carson Hocevar being within a second of Bell for most of that stage, they just couldn't really make a pass on him. Got a couple laps to try to get it done, it seems. And obviously the 62 is very, very strong. Qualified on the front row and looks just as equally strong as the race is going on.
As full as you can, and we're going to run whenever the cautions come out, maybe dictating this final stage when we get the rest of our fuel. Fleet. For Poeta, it's pretty straightforward at this moment. It'll get a little bit jumbled up in that final stage, depending on when those cautions fly, Todd.
yeah, that's the thing, Michael. We looked at the fall off on these tires, and it drops about half of a second, but most of that is in the first half of the run. They pretty much level out after that. So there's going to be strategy played by these crew chiefs in the second stage. You know, I pretty much guess it's going to go green flag stops. It's just the way it is here at Michigan. So it's going to be interesting to see how these crew chiefs play the strategy on tires.
See everybody falling to the bottom of the racetrack, doing everything they can to be as efficient on pit road as they can be with their speed.
Come down pit road to fill up with Sunoco race fuel with zero carbon bioethanol.
12 wins season. Sure told his crew chief that he's not a fan of how the truck is are reacting to rubber that it's getting tight. You'll see the 4 tires, one on the number 1 truck as we move to the 62 of Christopher Bell there in the center. 4 tires for him. Said that he was a little snug there at the end of the stage, Josh.
During the first run, Chandler Smith felt he was 5 to 6 numbers too tight. They made some adjustments, said it was much better, just 2 or 3 numbers tight. He said make 4 of those adjustments this time around. 4 tires of fuel as well for the 38 guys.
Get a man on the race off pit road. So through the 77, then Honeycutt, Enfinger, Bell, and Chandler Smith. It was a rough one for Corey Heim. They had an issue with the jack, and that's going to bury him in the field. Not what the one truck needed after a great second stage. We'll drop the green on the third and final stage when we come back to Michigan.
Had problems trying to get that left front tire on the one truck of Corey Heim there, dropping him back well outside of the top 10 after runner-up at stage number 2. Carson Hocevar wins the race off pit road. He will be the leader, gaining 2 spots, going from 3rd to 1st, where he has led a couple of times so far today, and now back in the lead again. Ethan Chua, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'll be at Michigan tomorrow for the Cup race. So just a Truck Series race stream this weekend. I wasn't sure if I was going to do practice and qualifying coverage. If it would have been in the morning, I would have been able to do it, but practice doesn't start until 5 o'clock later today, and I have to hit the road after this stream's done, so it's going to be a little bit too late in the day to stream and then leave. Well, we get to watch the finish of this truck race together now, and curious to see what's going to end up happening. Halfway home, first 2 stages in the books. Final stage, 65 laps. This was the older race length of 100 laps rather than 125. We'd actually have only less than 40 laps to go in this thing, and we'd be right on the verge of being able to make it upfield to the end. It'd be very close. Allergies have been hitting me this week. They're better today than what it's been for most of the week, and I think that's because I've been inside pretty much all day. But it has made me tired, that is for sure. This is like as tired as I've been during the day that I can remember. Nowhere near as tired as what I was last weekend when we were doing live commentary late on both Friday and Sunday from Nashville, but it's sleepy. We'll wake up, ramp things up for the finish here. Carson Hocevar going to be the leader on the restart. Caden Honeycutt second off the pit lane. Grant Enfinger, I believe, either took fuel only or right side tires only. That's why he's in 3rd now. And Christopher Bell will be 4th. A lot of problems for drivers today. Lane Riggs had that unscheduled pit stop at stage number 2. He gets the free, I believe actually he took the wave round, it looks, to get back on the lead lap. Because with him pitting middle of that stage, you can go a little bit further on fuel. I think he is going to be short of being able to make it one more stop, though, so he's going to have to hope for a caution. Gerald's lost some track position with that last stop. Obviously, we heard about Corey Heim doing the same. Heim going to restart back in 12th, losing 11 positions in the pits after a slow stop.
Shows
For a young 40.
Did you see what Kevin Harvick did there? He said time was full time. Oh, he's a poet, didn't even know it. No, it was brought to you by Poet. That's why that went in there, I believe. But it just appreciate the patience of Corey Heim. He knew he was in the right spot with Toyota, with TRD, with Tricon, with 2311. He knew he was where he wanted to be, and it's all going to pay off next year.
Amanda, I guess you could say, at least in this moment, good and bad news for Corey Heim.
Absolutely, and I know Josh Sims will back me up on this. When we've talked to Corey Heim over the last couple of seasons, he's really been unsure about what the future holds for him, and it's kind of been a head scratcher because we're all like, what's happening? Look at 12 wins in a season, and so I congratulated Corey on the news today, and he just kind of shot back at me and said, oh, I've known, and I kind of questioned, I said, you've known about this cup seat? He said, yeah, I've known for 2 years. The poker face on Corey Heim, guys.
Exactly. Now, that said, they just had an issue with the jack, so he's going to be restarting 11th. This was the problem moments ago on pit road.
Yeah, you watched the jack, man. At first, I thought he didn't get the handle all the way to the ground, but I just don't think he started the pump on the jack high enough. And the way these trucks are, there's zero room for error when the jack is to go up. You have to get it up.
38 and the 77. The 38 is not happy with the 77 after what just happened in the pits with most of our driving through his box.
Well, this has always been a point of contention, whether you're able to get in your box without going through another team's box, and they're always going to be mad at each other. And those guys are athletes, and they're tough. And if they get mad, it can go wrong in a hurry. You could see the teams trying to discuss it, but it's always been that way, getting in and out of your pit box.
But I believe, Michael, there is a rule that says you're only allowed to drive through one pit box before yours.
That is true.
If you watch that right there, Carson definitely drove through two.
Couple more things to clean up before we restart. The 52 Stuart Friesen got caught for speeding, exiting in the 30. Took the wave around back to the lead lap. 34 being their points leader. Late ranks and back under green flags.
All right, green flag back in the air. Stage 3 underway. Carson Hocevar battling side by side into the first turn. Not so much side by side anymore as Grant Etfinger is cleared down on the bottom. Great push by the 11 of Honeycutt. Honeycutt trying to get a little bit of momentum brewing for himself, though, up out of the high side in turn 2. And I don't think he's quite contesting with Carson Hocevar for the lead anymore. It'll be nose to tail. Honeycutt trying that middle to upper groove through turns 3 and 4. Hocevar slides back up in front of him again. Talked about clean air being king. I'm curious to see if track position will be king for Grant Etfinger, who is in 3rd place. How long can he hold up with the top couple of trucks ahead of him? As well as some of those hungry competitors that lost a spot or two in the pits, like Christopher Bell, Caden Honeycutt in his rearview mirror. Bell trying to cross over on Etfinger, not going to be able to make a move there. And we got a spinner. Cletus McFarland is around up out of turn 2. Locks it down, makes a save. Caution is out for the 4th time today, or 2nd incident, 1st of stage 3. Spin out of turn 2 for McFarland. Got a piece of the wall yesterday in the ARCA race, and I think had a bit of a slide in turn 2 as well. Wait for a replay. Top lane of the racetrack through turns 1 and 2. Truck just slipped out from underneath him a bit. For the most part, able to make the save. I think he might have clipped the wall at the right rear corner panel initially. But nothing major. He should be able to continue. It was 26 at the end of stage 2. That was Cletus. Big enough racetrack, even with that spin, to install the truck out. He should be able to stay on the lead lap. And I think for the most part, all the tires are up for him to be able to drive back into the pits on the front stretch. Hands were busy for McFarland there. He's usually a showman and now trying to become a wheelman at the same time. Jose Colon, Brett Whiteside, thanks for tuning in. Go Tigers. Tigers are struggling this year bad. They do not look like the Tigers of the last couple years. Scooble got hurt too. That doesn't help. Seems to be a good race. Root for Cletus to the finish. Oh, man. Spoke too soon, Brett. A little bit too soon. He had a clean day until now. He's still in the race, though. Still in the race. Still in the lead lap. Only 27 trucks on the lead lap. Depending on if we stay green all the way through stage 3 or not, he could have a lead lap finish if he continues to stay out of a crash-free race. Just had a spin there, but he didn't crash the race truck. And can continue on. Take a quick break here. You're listening live on KRC as, again, our full flag-to-flag coverage of today's Michigan race continues. Down around 55 laps to go this time by at the start-finish line. Carson Hocevar held on to the lead on the restart. Caden Honeycutt still in second, and Grant Enfinger for that lap and a half was still in third after restarting there and not taking 4 tires when on pit road at the end of stage 2, trying to get some track position and maybe keep it. A couple of overtimes in last year's Michigan race and some late yellows bled into a fuel mileage situation, which allowed for a late race restart and Stuart Friesen to steal the win, his only one of the season. But winless the year before that. Maybe we see another upset winner here today at Michigan. Grant Enfinger, maybe not a name that I would say is an upset winner. And maybe even the same for Friesen, but knowing that they haven't won in quite some time. Enfinger winless a season ago. Just like Friesen was the year before and then winning at Michigan last season. So you never know. You never know when that first win may pop up or first win in a long time, and you just never know when the last one's going to be. But on a day where he's in third, strategy has gotten him there. Now we'll see if he's got the truck underneath him to try to keep it. Yeah, practice and qualifying today at 5 p.m. Eastern on Prime Video. If you're wondering where you can watch practice and qualifying in the Cup race tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. And again, no live commentary streams for that. I will be at Michigan for the Cup race tomorrow, so yeah, no live commentary. Hey, Caden Honeycutt, that was on pit road? Nope, not him. It's a different Tricon garage truck, Gio Ruggiero, in the 17 on pit road for an extended period of time. That was at the end of stage 2. Might have came back onto pit road again during this caution, but I was wondering how he ended up at the tail end of the lead lap onto this next restart, because he was up in the top 5, top 10 early. And now in 28th, after finishing 8th place in both stage 1 and stage 2. I feel getting the 1 to go signal this time by, so we'll have 53 laps to go in the restart here at Michigan. Cletus still in the lead lap as projected. It's a quick enough spin. Didn't stall out. Truck is okay. In one piece still. Trying to scroll down my leaderboard. It's not working. Durati's passing. Need a new driver. So much really good talent makes the choice tough. Yeah, if you're looking for somebody young, curious to see what a driver like Lane Riggs can do in his career full-time in the Truck Series for now the third season. He's won a handful of races. What does he do? Some young guys in the Cup Series already with a lot of promise too, like Connor Zilic. Just wait for him to come up. Corey Heim, I think, could have a much better rookie season next year in Cup full-time than what Connor Zilic has had. Heim's already actually had a top 10. Finished top 5 at Bristol last year, and I think he had a top 10 at Kansas as well. We saw him lead laps at Kansas this season. A part-time effort. He has had speed. He's showing the driving talent while with that said speed. And I'm curious to see what he can do full-time next year. And a 23-11 team that has been surging with the way Tyler Reddick is leading in points and having 5 wins already on the season. No, I'm not going to be in California in a couple weeks. I'd love to go to a street race sometime, but yeah, not this week. San Diego, we'll be here on the channel. I don't know what the next race I'm going to go to is. Can't really put a timetable on that for the time being. I don't know what just happened. Sounded like something fell. I do not know what it was. I don't know if you guys heard that too. There's nobody else with me in this apartment right now, so that was interesting. Quiet until it wasn't. Maybe it's a ghost. Ooh. 38 likes on the stream. Our goal is to get to 50. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. Live commentary streams every weekend for Truck, O'Reilly, Cup Racing. Unless I go to, that's a Cup race in person like tomorrow in Michigan. But we'll be back full swing next week at Pocono. As far as the live commentary content is concerned. Pop-up showers in the area, it looks like, at Michigan. Good news is it looks to be north of the Speedway. Hopefully it stays there. Field is doubled up, and they'll be ready to go green this time. You can see the darker clouds to the back straightaway as well. Hopefully they stay clear and we get the racing here. We'll have 51 laps to go in this one. Restarts have been nuts, to say the least, so far. And again, another one upcoming. Cletus McFarland with a spin, bringing out the last caution. Crowd packed through the center of the Tri-Oval in Michigan, on their feet, waving their hats and flags, green flag in the air. A lot of trucks jumping out of line in the middle of the pack already. Tightly contested, and a handful of rows 3 wide. Down the back straightaway go the leaders. Carson Hocevar getting a push from behind by Caden Honeycutt in the 11. Followed by Christopher Bell in the 62. Caution out on the speedway again. And we got a slow truck, Stuart Friesen. In the 52, last year's Michigan race winner. Maybe leaking some fluids. Subtle smoke coming out of the back of that race truck as he is on the apron. So back-to-back yellows. It looks like Honeycutt was scored potentially as the leader when the caution came out. Wait to see a replay of maybe Friesen had spun, bringing out the caution. Haven't seen any replays yet. Friesen has made his way back into the pits. His teammate Christopher Bell having a pretty solid day. Kind of a semi-home track for Stuart Friesen as well, of course, from Canada. Closest track to the Canadian border between here and Watkins Glen in upstate New York. It's an emotional win last year for this 52 team in Friesen. Yeah, spin down the back straightaway towards turn 3. The reason for the caution with Friesen going around. Flipped off of the front bumper of somebody in the middle of the pack. Can't tell exactly who that was. Looks like it might have been Ty Majeski in the 88. Had made contact off the front bumper of his truck and, of course, the back of the 52. So pacing around under caution. Wait for things to get situated yet again. Caution breeding a caution after a caution here to start stage 3. Stage 2 went caution free. Couple of lazier spins today, and that's pretty much been about it. Battles for the lead at times. Seeing who those faster trucks are between the likes of Carson Hocevar, Christopher Bell. Corey Heim didn't lead any laps, but was contesting for the lead at the end of stage 2. Really most of stage 2. Couple of restarts back-to-back to try to get Corey Heim back in contention after he had fallen behind on a pit stop at the end of that second stage, dropping him from second back to 13th. He is now in 9th. Bunches the field up, allows for him to get a couple positions at a time, which he's been able to do twice now. 2 apiece on the last couple restarts. Back out of Hulu real quick and then go back in. Just make sure I'm up with the actual live portion of the broadcast. Commercial break taking place during this caution. Full screen break at that.
Weekends of NASCAR. Hopes up 2 weeks from now. In San Diego on the streets on the Naval Base Coronado, you're going to have Carrier Corner, Top Gun views, Friday the Trucks, June 19th, 7 Eastern here on FS1. The course, Michael, 3.4 miles, 16 turns.
Wow, it's just an incredible event. I thought NASCAR, Coronado for having us. I'm just so proud to be celebrating 250 in this beautiful country of ours, and we're going to go out west and mix it up on a naval base.
In California terminology, that track's gnarly.
Gnarly. And look at those two.
7-time. Jimmy Johnson's going to race, and Jamie McMurray in that 25 for Ram.
And that hair for Jamie is straight up out of the 90s, and he's never left it since. And he's just been committed to it. So I don't know, you're not the same thing, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I know it's all right.
It's going to be the longest course on the NASCAR schedule here in 2026.
I was thinking that's unique.
Yeah. Very. The Top Gun piece is awesome too.
You gotta see. You gotta
Did you watch that movie,
Yeah,
Todd?
Prime Video did it. We watched it. Me and Janet watched it last night, and it's really cool little movie and funny. It's neat though. It's interesting to see our drivers trying to act, and they actually did a pretty darn good job. Go on to Prime Video and watch that. It's awesome.
We've had one caution for incident in the first 2 stages today. In 3, as it often does, it has gotten interesting. We've had 3 in the first 10 laps of this 3rd stage. Remember, last year, we had triple overtime here in the Truck Series, the longest race by distance in the history of the series. And this infield is second to none here in Michigan.
That's exactly what we talk about going to the Coronado Naval Base and how cool that's going to be. In Michigan, I tell folks all the time that ask me, want to go camping, which race would you suggest? Well, everybody says Talladega, right? Which is the right answer. The other right answer is Michigan. Did you see those fans in there? They set up on Monday or Tuesday, and it is a party all week long. We got fans in the grandstands. This is one of the most fun stops on the NASCAR schedule all year long. It's a beautiful day in Michigan. The fans have turned out, and those folks in the infield are all set for a beautiful weekend here in the Irish Hills.
It's about to get really fun here in the Truck Series. Today, 6 races remaining in the regular season before the chase.
Let's choose it up. What do you say, boys? Front 2 to the top.
How about it? And Honeycutt decided to go behind Kosovari.
Good to be beside him. Connor Mosak, you see him still hanging around that top 10.
It's going to be a great day if he can get that top 10 down on this, I'll tell you.
You got that right.
7 trucker Spire is always a factor. 2 Spires, the top 8.
We got some interesting guys in the back. We talked about Lane Riggs getting back on the lead lap, getting his tires. It's going to be fun to watch him come through the field because his pressure is going to be through the roof trying to get up through here in a hurry.
All right. Amanda has more than 99 of Ben Rhodes.
Yeah, look at Ben Rhodes up there running in the top 10. Started this race from the rear. They had a power outage during qualifying. He wouldn't elaborate on it, but said they've just had rotten luck this year. But he told me before this race started, in third person, he said, Ben Rhodes is going to be on the move today.
Certainly. I love Ben Rhodes on the move. He's just such a great character, champion, winner. I mean, this kid has got it all, and I'm looking forward to see. I've been watching this 99 truck. It's been fast. Can he get all the way to the front?
From 35th to 7th.
Where's your highest running Ram at the moment?
They need a good result. It's been a bit of a struggle. Last week, their top finisher was 19th.
He and Butterbean Queen are both up in the 11 to 12 spots. I've heard a lot out of Ross Chastain yet. This is getting Ross time now. Let's see if he can put on a move.
The 10th spot.
Fans on their feet. Back under green. With 45 to go in Michigan.
So tempting. We saw Grant wanting to push. You said to stay in line. Look at Ben Rhodes. 4 wide.
Bell making the bottom work to go back to the front in front of Savard.
Enfinger with a bad start there. He must have gotten loose. He's fallen way back.
5 wide, deep in the field.
Somewhere in that mess back there is Lane Riggs. He's brawling, bringing that thing to the front.
And then last week, late in the race, in stage 3, making his way through the field for his second straight victory.
Look at that push by Hocevar. Just saying, let's get out of town here, buddy.
Cigar to the inside of the 62 of Dell. In the bottom line.
We asked if Ben Rhodes get there. He is there in the 4th position in that red 99.
So give Ben Rhodes 4th. He came in 7th in the point standings.
Dives to the bottom on Eckes.
He's 3rd in points. Good battle here. And time run rough top right there, trying to get this run. Can he get it down to Ben Rhodes? And finger comes down and kicks service.
Must be some left rear flat.
Yeah.
He was right up front with that restart. Wow, he was fortunate to get out of there without crashing. Watch this mess. See the blue truck in the middle? And these drivers, that's an excellent job not piling up the whole field.
Fantastic job. But look at Lane Riggs. Stuck right behind him. Lost probably 6 or 7 spots easy. Timberland Joy, the man on board. It's Hocevar, then Bell, and Eckes. Free time. And the issue on Penn Road, dropped to 11th of restart, has worked its way back to 4th.
You know, we've talked all season long about Caden Honeycutt, Lane Riggs. That's the 2 guys that have separated themselves. But man, you got to start talking about Christian Eckes, too. I mean, he's up in the top 5 here, battling for 3rd right now. Week in and week out, he's been strong. Is he another guy that we're going to put into our championship 4? It's been a fun 6 weeks to watch him run into contention.
He was at 3 straight top 10s. He was 7th at Dover, 6th at Charlotte, 8th at Nashville. Sterling. Well, it's been a tough start to the season, but he told me they think that they figured some things out, figured where they were missing it. They know they're not quite there yet, but the last few races have been very good, very strong. 41 to go. It's Hocevar and Bell and Heim.
At 40 to go, if you'd have said those 3 names would be at the front, no one would be surprised. Right?
Not at all.
Those are 3 of the stars from the Cup Series that have come here, and we're like, well, will they be able to do something with our regulars? And they are doing it now.
Christopher takes lead. Corey follows right behind him in his track. Parsons looks there, can't quite make his head back.
There's Eckes and Rhodes with Honeycutt. 3 of our truck regulars right on their tailgates.
Further back, Garcia makes the pass on the 38 of Chandler Smith and gets you to 9th. Possible green flag pit stops are coming up in this long stage 3. 39 to go in Michigan. It's Bell at the point.
Yeah, definitely not going to be able to make it on field of the end, even if you would have pitted to top off during that last caution, restarted with north of 40 to go, and the estimated fuel window under green flag laps is around 39, as stated in the pre-race. Christopher Bell is our race leader right now. Corey Hyman second, Carson Hocevar in third, Christian Eckes fourth, Ben Rhodes fifth, sixth place is Caden Honeycutt, seventh is Corey LaJoy, good run for the 10 truck. Connor Bosak in 8th, Jake Garcia 9th, Chandler Smith rounds out the top 10. Under a full screen commercial break on Fox Sports 1, and we are under caution for the 6th time today as well. And this should open the field window up to make it to the end, so we should see everybody coming to pit road this time by. So caution flag is out. Just have to wait and see exactly what the caution is for. Unaware at the moment. It's the longest green flag run we've seen so far. You see me at both races? But are you at the truck race now? I mean, like both races this weekend? If anybody in the chat is going to the Cup race tomorrow, if you see me, you're more than welcome to say hi. I'll be repping my Ryan Blaney merch per usual. Gonna be there, awesome. I will maybe see you there. We'll run it back. Still gonna leave the chat poll open. I'll close it with 20 laps to go. As far as who you think is gonna win today's race, 23 votes have been casted. I didn't get the poll out until after the race had started today. 39% though taking the hometown driver Carson Hocevar for the win. I'm at 30% of the votes thus far, 13% for Bell, 17% other. It's been the top three trucks all day. Christopher Bell, stage 1, stage 2 winner, and current race leader. Pit road is open.
We expect everybody to get 4 tires and a couple of cans of Sunoco fuel.
Will anybody pull the 2-tire trick? I don't know, man. What are they saying down there?
It'll be 4 tires for Corey Hyman. That's exactly what Jerry Donnelly said. More of the same for Corey Hyman. For Christopher Bell, he asked for more of the same too. He was stuck there at the end, Josh.
Carson Hocevar in striking distance of getting a win at his hometown track. 4 tires were good for them, and they wanted to make sure they had no issues getting into the pit box for 38 this time, guys.
Race off pit road.
Race off pit road. Somebody's taking 2 tires and will easily win the race out of the pits. Waiting to see on the Fox graphic exactly who that was. No word of it yet. They're panning to Carson Hocevar, but it wasn't his truck. Showing a replay of what brought out the caution. Ty Majeski going for a spin after trying to get to the outside of the 15 of Tanner Gray. Slight contact was made, and then Majeski ends up losing. The race truck backs it against the outside wall. Holsitter had a rough one today. Led a couple laps early, 4 of them to be exact. Fell behind on a restart early in that first stage, fell out of the top 10. Got back up to 9th by the end of stage 2, and now this spin here, middle of stage 3. And he's got quite a bit of damage after backing it against the outside wall. Majeski going to be done for the day. Stay cool, it's going to be warm. Yeah, it'll be a little bit warmer tomorrow. For a June Michigan race. I've been to some warm ones in August, but usually the June race, it's relatively cool. But this weekend, a little bit on the warmer side. Jake Garcia, by the way, was the driver who won the race out of the pits. Of those that took 4 tires, Carson Hocevar was the first out. But Garcia took rights only. And then Hocevar took 4. Daniel Dye, I believe, stayed out of the pits entirely. So Dye will be the leader. Hocevar will be 3rd. And again, Garcia 2nd. 35 laps to go. Michigan International Speedway. It's going to be a tightly contested battle. And knowing that the front row is not going to be filled up with some of the faster trucks in the field, I'm going to predict that this is going to be the wildest restart we've seen so far here today. 1 to go signal, which means we'll be going green with 33 laps to go today at Michigan. Narrow down closer to the finish.
String of trucks that all got 4 tires. So I'm not sure the leader of the winner of this race, Todd, won't come from outside the top 10 right now.
That's pretty good bet, Michael. I'm with you on that. I just don't think these 2 tires was the right move. It's if the racetrack surface was newer and you didn't totally rely on those lefts for grip, I'd say maybe there's a chance. The newer the surface, the better chance you have with 2 tires. But this old surface, those right sides are gonna get hot, and once they get hot, you're in trouble on it with no lefts.
And what I'm going to say at home is, hey, y'all, watch this. Because the front row has used tires on. They've been out there on those tires. And the 6th row has 4 tires. And that's the delta that we can't overcome. It's done.
Good use of the word delta.
He's been waiting to use that, folks.
Just learned it earlier today.
Just to have a note there, Ford hasn't won at Michigan in the Truck Series since 09. We talked all day.
It's insane. Colin Braun won that race in 2009. It has been a very long time for the Truck Series. Now, they haven't raced every year here since then, but even still, it's been a lot of races, 12 of them. Green flag is back in the air. Daniel Dye, the leader in the restart after not pitting during that last caution. Garcia took right side tires, only he's inside of row 1. So who will be the first on 4 fresh Goodyears to get to the lead? Into the first turn, outside of 3 wide for the lead is going to be Carson Hocevar. Will he come out of turn 2 with it, or is he still going to be battling? One truck slides against the wall a little bit outside the top 10. It looked like it might have been one of the Thor Sport trucks. Tough to tell exactly who it was. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, it was Hocevar getting out in front. Moves to the bottom a little quickly. Loses that top lane of the racetrack before throwing a big block on Chandler Smith, who lifted, let the 77 back in, and now Smith's under duress back in second. Pulls right back up to the back of Carson Hocevar again, though, and into turn 1. We'll see how things are going to shake up. Chandler Smith had a big run on him, but did not make the pass for the lead. And they'll remain nose to tail down the backstretch. Caution out again here at Michigan.
Caution out here with 32 to go in turn 2.
76 and a 13.
It's Cole Butcher in the 13. 76, Spencer Boyd.
And I think Butcher got against the wall.
A lot of damage to that 13 truck. Well, gives you a chance to catch your breath after that wild restart.
I saw a 4 wide. I don't know if I saw 5.
I didn't see 5 yet, but it's coming.
We saw that on the last one. Spencer Boyd climbing out of the 76 truck. Cole Butcher doing the 13.
Oh, 13 got a flat right front. Drove right up the racetrack.
It was a massive impact with Butcher. And Boyd
Wow, left front. Flat left front. What a shame. Sir Boyd just minding his own business and just got taken out. Man, that's such a shocker when you have something like that happen. Damage to the 76. Spencer's out, walking around.
As much as I hate it for Spencer, it was a good thing he was out there because that would have been one hard hit for Cole Butcher. So let's go back a second, Michael, on the restart here. I want to just to show you how important your decisions are on restarts. Christopher Bell went outside with Corey Heim through 1 and 2. Got to 3 and 4. Christopher went to the bottom. Corey went to the outside. They come out of turn 4, and Corey was 5 trucks ahead of Christopher.
Let's just take a look at all that. There was so much going on, Todd. You lost me there for a second.
Well, I was watching the 2 fastest trucks on the track, so now if we look back in the back here a little bit, we can see Corey pulls out. There he is. Christopher goes with him.
And look at that mess ahead of him.
And then Katie gets on the outside, so Corey's like, okay, you're breaking the draft for him, you're breaking the air. I'm going to get a good run.
3 wide
Of
at
course,
the
we got
front.
3 right at the front. This is breaking air for everybody.
Chandler Smith, look at that big run he had. Here comes Caden Honeycutt. Just action everywhere on that restart.
Crazy.
Honeycutt restarted 13th and got all the way to third.
Doesn't surprise me at all. He made the right moves and craziness.
He came in second in points, won a few weeks back at Watkins Glen. I don't think the drama's over yet. We finished things out of Michigan.
30 laps to go. Michigan International Speedway. Carson Hocevar, for a couple of restarts, has held the lead. Technically, he restarted third this last time outside of row 2, but he was still able to get outside of 3 wide for the lead out of turn 2 and take it down the backstretch before the caution came out behind him. Right front tire failure for Cole Butcher. Second ThorSport racing truck to retire from the race. Second consecutive caution in which one of those trucks were collected and knocked out of the race. Dawson Sutton, Ty Majeski, Cole Butcher, Spencer Boyd, the 4 trucks that are done for the afternoon. 36 started, down to 32 that remain on the racetrack. And as far as lead lap trucks, we have 27 on the lead lap. Grant Enfinger gets the free pass in 28th place with this caution coming out, so he'll be back in it again. Excuse me, got the hiccups. I don't know where that came from. I ate before the stream started, but that was over 2 hours ago. 17 lead changes now as Hocevar retaking the lead yet again. It's led for a handful of different times. We got 30 laps to go. This was the 100-lap Michigan International Speedway race. Then we'd be looking at about 5 more laps to go, but another 30. Could still get a decently long green flag run in here. Not over for that yet. $39 likes on the stream. Our goal is to get to 50 here today, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. And subscribe for more NASCAR content along the way. So Carson Hocevar, Chandler Smith, top 2 in the running order. Caden Honeycutt in 3rd. Jake Garcia in 4th. Lane Riggs 5th. Daniel Dye is in 6th place. With Ross Chastain 7th. Corey Heim 8th. Corey LaJoy 9th. Christian Eckes rounding out the top 10. Tanner Gray in 11th. Connor Mosack 12th. Gio Ruggiero in 13th. Christopher Bell back to 14th. Brenton Queen 15th. Tyler Ankrum 16th. Parker Kligerman in 17th. Daniel Hemrick 18th. Cletus McFarland 19th. And Justin Haley 20th. How about Cletus in the top 20? See if he can finish off a good run. The way these cautions are coming out, it could be a war of attrition. Here's Ty Majeski outside the infield care center.
You'll finish in the top 15 and then out. I know you wanted to break that streak here today. We're going to take a look at the replay. How do you break down what happened?
Yeah, I just looked like the 15, maybe thought he was clear. And, I just kind of came up. I tried to give him some room and just kind of ran me out of room there. And then once you get into the racetrack without rubber on it, just kind of go around. So, disappointing for our Menards Ford F-150. Had a truck with a lot of speed today. Struggled a little bit in traffic. Wish we could have saw that one through and maybe gained a few more spots. But overall, just need to be a little bit better in traffic. And, we'll go to San Diego, a place we should be pretty strong.
See you there.
Yeah, thank you.
It's tough when you have a incident like that and you try thinking it's avoidable and guy moves a little bit, you weren't ready for it, and then it causes you to go into the outside wall. Tough.
Told myself I wouldn't continue to say up and down season, but it's true. It was 12th last time. And I know we keep showing it.
It's nuts. It's just unbelievable what he's been going through. And you think the thing that I think out of that, Todd, are the ups. If you get too worried about the downs, you'll wind up down. And that team's strong. Ty's a great racer.
they'll get the steadiness corrected and be up toward the front toward the end of the season.
Well, the thing about those downs is you have to look at actual on-track performance, not the actual finishing position. And if you look at that, what they've done this year, they've been fast pretty much every race. You know, it's exactly what we would expect out of Ty Majeski and Joe Shear as a combination. They're always fast, and they have been all year. So just you can't help bad luck. Just it happens. It's part of the sport.
We saw and talked about Ben Rhodes getting that 99 truck into the outside wall off turn 2. Looks like the team has done a nice job of getting things patched up. Look how loose he is. And that's relatively minor contact with the wall, considering the shape he was in, Todd.
Yeah. Well, the bad part about this contact, we talk about it all the time, is that right rear quarter panel. It is not going to have the side force that it has. So the first thing I'm doing as a crew chief, I'm going to tighten that truck up. Hopefully they did that and they can continue, but it's not going to be competitive with that quarter panel unless the thing was way too tight to begin with, which
it didn't look like it.
Didn't look like it to me.
And plus, the team had the chance a couple of times now. He'll probably come back now. No, he's going to stay on. But the team's had a few chances to pull on that right rear. You can see the tape back there behind the T where they worked on it.
The problem, you can't really pull that corner out because that corner is fiberglass right there where that tape is and that tail light decal. That's fiberglass, so you can't really pull it out and it won't stay. If it was all metal back there, yeah, you could get up underneath and hammer it out. But the way that thing is, there's a lot of side force gone, and these trucks rely on that side force through the corners.
7th in points entering the race for the 99 of Rhodes.
Now it's just going to be a matter of survival.
Yeah.
As we're getting ready to go back green, and I hope you've at home fought your breath, got on the edge of your couch, because I don't see it being any calmer this time.
I would hurricane out there. Caden Honeycutt took the inside. Chandler Smith's right behind Hurricane.
There's Lane Riggs, P5. Daniel Dye held on to 6th after his strategy play.
Yeah, that was pretty darn good right there.
I feel like
old
Riggs
tires.
is pretty good with the tires right now, his situation. Yeah, he's equal footing with the rest of them.
All right, here we go. 26 laps to go at Michigan. 2-mile oval. Carson Hocevar trying to hang on for another restart as he is the leader. Caden Honeycutt gets a great push on the inside. Lane Riggs tucked in line right behind him. 4-3 wide action into the first turn in the back half of the top 10 and beyond. Side by side for the lead down the back straightaway still between Honeycutt and Hocevar. Honeycutt on the inside, Hocevar up high, but not as much drafting help on the bottom for Honeycutt. The 38 of Chandler Smith will push the top 2 clear, and Smith being the second of which in that running order. 4 wide, nearly up off the exit of turn 4 for about 5th place. Jockeying for position, Corey Heim trying to work his way back up through the running order. After that slow pit stop at the end of stage 2, and he now tries to attack on Jake Garcia for 4th, gets by him quickly to the inside of Honeycutt, who really pinches Heim down the racetrack, and Heim still stays alongside of Honeycutt for 3rd. Got to get back up in line behind him, though, potentially could lose another spot. Side drives Honeycutt all the way down the backstretch, and they're still side by side for position. Riggs back to the top. He wants to get by Garcia for 5th. Should be able to make this pass, and he does. High, meanwhile, was not able to make a pass for position on his own, and Lane Riggs might try to attack Corey Heim for 4th into turns 1 and 2. Let's see. Riggs to the bottom of the track. About a lane off the bottom for the 1 of Heim. Nothing doing there, and now single file, a top handful of positions. In the running order, down the back straightaway for turn 3. 23 laps to go this time by. So Carson Hocevar leads in a similar spot he was in late, leading and or battling for the lead late in the final 20 laps at Michigan in last year's Craftsman Truck Series race. Now the same this time around in 2026. Corey Heim again went to the bottom of the track through 1 and 2 to get by Caden Honeycutt. And this time he couldn't even stay alongside of him down the back straightaway like he did the last time he tried to make that pass attempt. There's the tail tightly are the top two still. 5 cars in this lead draft up at the front of the pack. Hocevar, Chandler Smith, Honeycutt, Heim, and Riggs. And again, for the third consecutive lap, it turns 1 and 2. Corey Heim trying to make a pass on Honeycutt. This time he timed the run out well enough and does make the pass, and he's clear. Those two are teammates at Tricon Garage. Of course, that's Heim's old truck in the 11 that Honeycutt now drives, and they'll work together down the backstretch and try to get after the top two. Corey Heim taking that wider line through turns 3 and 4. And I think he's going to have momentum off the exit of the corner to try to attack on Chandler Smith, who took the bottom lane, trying to get some clean air in the nose. So Smith has a run instead after Carson Hocevar, and all Smith does with that run is bump, draft, and push Hocevar and be impatient with him as he tries to stay along. That last time by on the front stretch, didn't want to shake things up with still 21 laps to go. It's a veteran move by Chandler Smith, a driver who has won at this level before in the NASCAR Cup Series, or NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, excuse me. Problem is if he waits too long and maybe doesn't get that good of a push from behind, it might be harder to make the pass. 20 laps to go. And you just don't know what's going to happen between Heim, Honeycutt, and Riggs, who are tightly behind them. Are they going to get restless and try to make a move on their own as well? Smith taken to the bottom. Not really trying to make a pass there. I think he's just trying to get some clean air in the nose. Stay on the throttle a little bit longer through the center of the corner, or win the race back to the gas a bit sooner without getting too tight in the wake of the dirty air behind our race leader. Clean air is king for Carson Hocevar right now. We've seen green flag runs of longer than 5 laps, and we haven't really seen any changes in the lead beyond that point, minus the pass that Bell made on Hocevar with about 4 laps to go back at stage 1. And it was just those 2 trucks running nose to tail at that time. Bell didn't really need any other help. Bell had a fast race truck, first and first at the end of the first 2 stages. But despite sweeping them, he is back in the 7th place position right now. Fell behind a couple of these late race restarts. Has a chance to get back into it with maybe another caution, but well out of the top 5 battle here with just 18 laps to go. About a 5-second deficit nearly to Corey LaJoy. 3.5-second deficit, to LaJoy back in 6th. But you can throw a blanket over these 5 trucks at the front of the pack. And Riggs lagging a little bit behind down the backstretch this time. Compared to the 4 trucks ahead of him. Really, the top 3 all running different lanes.
Like this said that they're like lanes pulling out to get in front of his truck. Well, he's also trying to figure out his best lines for the corner. Let the guy where it is. Make the piece right here. He's trying to make it around the bottom. I don't think it's going to nerve a little too tight, but you're right. It's just like Daytona. Well, who coined that phrase? High speed chest match? But it's exactly what it is, and you're right. These guys are trying to figure this stuff out.
I bet you Ned Jarrett coined that phrase. Probably chess match. That sounds like something Ned would say.
How about Heim? He's won 21 different tracks, tied for the second most of all time with Mike Skinner. But he has yet to win here at Michigan. He won 2 stages last year, but then fell back and finished 18th.
Look at that run. The paint truck has got the momentum. Just got to play his cards right. There's the gas factor, the 6th place truck of C. Bell. He's gotten around Corey LaJoy, and he's got a fast truck. Can he, Todd, from now that far back? Can they close that ground?
I don't think so. These guys are setting a pretty darn fast pace up front, and Christopher can drive his guts out, and he's not going to gain any time out of this. He's got the same speed in his truck, and he's fine. So I don't think without a finish that he can get there. Maybe he has to get somebody to draft with him. Corey Heim in the first. The money.
Third to first.
Is led today. Corey Heim to the point. Savard.
That's what Mel wants to see back there. These guys start to mix it up. And the tires are falling off, Todd. Trucks are going to handle differently now. So we could see some trucks that have been struggling up to this point start to take over.
Exactly. Safar only took the 2 tires, but let's hear what he has to say.
We have to. I can't have a lot of it. We have to.
So that was a choreographed move. Was there something on the grill? I think that's the case because we saw Hocevar lead the race, fall back, and I think that was the spotter working together to get this debris off the grill.
Heim, by the way, leading here late. It is indeed Heim time with 14 to go. This is 31 straight races now in which he's led.
Wow.
Comes Honeycutt to the back of the 77. So your point, Michael, looked like whatever it was still there. See that white spot on the lower right side of the grill?
We'll be trying to run up on the back.
There it is.
It's tough one.
It's amazing that little piece of paper can make it run too high.
He's been bigger, though, and he got part of it off. Anytime you get behind another truck, it's going to try to pull anything on the grill off. You could see the moves he's making.
You got to get just a little closer, though.
But just that change there when the other truck goes out.
Well, hopefully Hocevar is not going to be dealing with an overheating issue at this point. 12 laps to go. He's just going to have to run until she blows. Fast rated pace and high RPMs, obviously, here at Michigan could make for an interesting finish for just the engine alone of that 77, let alone the battle we're seeing amongst the top 3. Heim went from 3rd place to 1st to take the lead a couple laps ago from Carson Hocevar. Hocevar still stayed in 2nd. Honeycutt moved up into 3rd. And Chandler Smith, who was in 2nd place, is now back in 4th. And it seems like those Front Row Motorsport Fords starting to lose a little bit of ground, drafting with each other, trying to keep up with the top 3. Both Chandler Smith and Lane Riggs are now just over a second back of the leader Heim that last time at the start-finish. Oh, a tough break for Corey LaJoie, as he is coming to pit road for an unscheduled stop. He was running in the 6th place position on the restart. Looks like he might have made some contact with the wall. Looks like that right rear tire is soft on the 10. So Corey LaJoie onto pit road. Unscheduled stop late. Going to ruin a good day he had going for himself. I believe he had a top 10 in last year's Michigan race as well. Not going to happen 2 years in a row as he'll fall off the lead lap with the leaders coming by this time on the front stretch. Corey Heim through the tri-oval goes down to the bottom of the racetrack there, trying to break the draft away from Hocevar and Honeycutt behind him. While Honeycutt and Hocevar did not trail in the draft of the race leader that last time by. Interesting corner for Carson as he tries to get up close to the 1, changing his line on both ends of the speedway, doing whatever he can to get the clean air in the nose, keep the hammer down, and put pressure, and not let this one truck have an easy ride to victory. Corey Heim will be looking for his 3rd win of the Truck Series season. And kind of looking back at where he is in the standings right now, he is 16th in points, but he's only ran 4 races out of 11. So the fact that he's 16th in points after only running 4 races is just impressive. He's won 2 of the 4, trying to go 3 for 5. And if he wins today, it'll be career win number 26 for Corey Heim. Going to end the chat poll now with a little less than 10 laps to go for who you think is going to win today's race. 36% of 28 votes taking Carson Hocevar for the win as he remains in 2nd late. 29% have the current leader Heim. 24% had somebody other than Heim, Hocevar, or Bell. And Bell only had 11% of the votes despite winning those first 2 stages. Eight laps to go here at Michigan. Full field running order in the late going has Heim in the lead, Carson Hocevar in second, Caden Honeycutt third, Chandler Smith fourth, Lane Riggs in fifth. Sixth is Christopher Bell with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. up to seventh. Eighth is Jake Garcia, Connor Bosack ninth, and Tyler Ankrum 10th. Grant Enfinger back up to 11th after being a lap down at one point. Gio Ruggiero at 12th, Brendan Queen 13th, Parker Kligerman 14th, and Daniel Hemrick, who fell off the lead lap in the early laps, is 15th. Same for Justin Haley, who is now 16th, Daniel Dye 17th, Ross Chastain 18th, Tanner Gray 19th, and Ben Rhodes 20th. Andres Perez 21st, Minnie Tyrell 22nd, Stuart Friesen 23rd, Frankie Muniz 24th, and Cletus McFarland in 25th. Last truck in the lead lap is Spencer Davis in 26th. Corey LaJoy just went a lap down, is 27th. Christian Eck is 28th, having an unscheduled stop in the final stage as well, dropping him out of the top 5 at one point. Josh Riem 31st, Chris Wright 32nd, 33rd for Cole Butcher, Spencer Boyd 34th, Ty Majeski 35th, and Dawson Sutton 36th. Moved for second place on the racetrack moments ago. Caden Honeycutt taking over second from Carson Hocevar, trying to keep pace with his teammate Corey Heim. These two battled for wins in the first two that Corey Heim had. They actually finished 1-2 in both of those races. That was the start of the Triple Truck Challenge when Heim won those two events. Honeycutt finished second in both, and here they are 1-2 late. Can Honeycutt finally get the best of Corey Heim, his teammate here? Honeycutt also looking for his first career oval victory in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Finally a winner at this level back at Watkins Glen. But he is trying to put that pressure on. 5 laps to go to get it done. 10 miles around this past 2-mile oval. Didn't feel the run was necessary to try to make a move into turn 1 this time. Get some clean air in the nose. Might be trying to just push him away from the 77 right now. Because he had a massive run that time out of turn 4. Chose to just kind of push Corey Heim down the front stretch. And it worked wonders for both the 11 and the 1 because they did pull Carson Hocevar a bit in doing that. 4 laps to go as they may try to settle it amongst themselves. Take Hocevar out of the equation. Also, if Honeycutt fails to make that pass, he falls back to third. He did a very good job of taking away second. That could be lost quickly. Somebody smoking on the bottom of turn 2. Maybe a bit of a tire rub from one of the lap trucks. 16 of Justin Haley having problems again, as he did earlier. Three laps to go at Michigan this time by. Waiting to see if Caden Honeycutt will make a move and how big of a block is Corey Heim willing to throw on his teammate for a win. As Tricon Garage runs 1-2 at the front of the pack. Honeycutt so close to getting to the inside of Heim that time. So close to the back bumper of that one truck that he actually got tight. Middle off of turn 2, lost a lot of ground, and he's going to have to do a lot of hard work to get that back over the last 2 laps of this race. Off turn 4, the distance is about 4 to 5 car lengths between the 1 and the 11. Honeycutt's going to close that 2 to 3 truck lengths on the front stretch alone this time. Takes to the inside in turns 1 and 2, but I think he was a little bit too far back to try to make that move work. But he caught up to the one truck a lot quicker than I was expecting. It's hard to tell if the 11's actually faster or if it's the draft that's having him keep up with the one, because we know how fast the one has been all day. It's the first time Corey Heim has led. And there's going to be a hard charging Caden Honeycutt by the time they get to turn 1. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Corey Heim blocking the bottom of the racetrack. Honeycutt looking for the inside. Now tries to sweep to the top. A little bit of contact between the 1 and the 11. That was a big time block that almost got the one truck of Corey Heim turned. Now to the back straightaway one final time. Honeycutt's about 3 truck lengths back into turn 3. Heim didn't feel he was close enough to try to break the draft in any moment there. Lap traffic right in front of the leaders, but won't be in the way enough. Honeycutt searching for everything around the top of the racetrack, and he's going to have a massive run on the front stretch. As they come to the start-finish line, back and forth blocking, and Corey Heim is going to hold on to win at Michigan. Besting Caden Honeycutt for the third time this season. That was almost shades of the last time these two were battling late at Darlington, when Honeycutt threw a big block Heim threw a big block on Honeycutt, and Honeycutt kind of cut him some slack. And here we are again. It was an epic run through 3 and 4 that Honeycutt put on that time. He was digging in that outside lane, hoping for all the momentum on the front stretch to bypass his teammate, just ran out of straightaway. The start-finish line right in the middle of it. Margin of victory, 0.06 of a second between Corey Heim and Caden Honeycutt. A 1-2 finish for Tricon Garage. Corey Heim, third win of the season. He's only ran 5 races in the Truck Series this year, and he's tied for the most wins in the series. This guy is awesome. 26 career truck wins. He continues to rack up the accolades down at the lower level. Of course, will be full-time at 2311 Racing in the NASCAR Cup Series starting next season. It is Heim time, ladies and gentlemen. Big burnout on the front stretch. Heim went on to lead for 15 laps here today. 1 for Honeycutt, 65 for Hocevar, who led the most laps in the race today. Christopher Bell led for 37, winning both Stage 1 and Stage 2. 4 laps led for our pole sitter, Ty Majeski, and then 3 laps for Daniel Dye were the only drivers to lead in today's race. 7 cautions, 20 lead changes, 34 laps spent under yellow, 2 hours, 5 minutes to get through the full distance of today's race, which was 125 laps and 250 miles. 25 trucks finish on the lead lap. And here is your race winner, Corey Heim, on the front stretch at Michigan.
His 5th start of the year here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series as he moves up the track to grab the checkered flag.
Caden Honeycutt's got to be frustrated, but he did everything right. It just sometimes you get taken down. You know, it was 2 heavyweights battling to the checker flag, and what a great job Corey Heim did, turning away all of Honeycutt's advances.
Josh Sims standing by with the winner. Well, Corey Heim's first time back in the truck since Bristol, picking up his 3rd win of the season. Corey, bring me through those final laps. You got your former truck and that 11 truck bearing down on you. You got your former team. You hold them off to get this win. What did it take?
Yeah, I appreciate the help from the 11 and the 62 all day to kind of get us away from the pack. I thought we had the 3 or 4 best trucks running up front. So they did a nice job getting us out front. We kind of discussed that pre-race, and then we're going to race it out at the end, and that's what we did, you know. He tried to get to my right rear there, which would have probably won the race, and I had to protect it, you know. So props to Caden, props to Christopher. I don't know where he ended up, but he was helping me really good all day. So first win with Celsius as our primary. We've had a good relationship with them over the past couple of years. Obviously not the best run of Bristol a couple of weeks ago in the truck, but came back and got redemption. So just so grateful for Celsius and those guys, Tricon, TRD, Toyota, 2311 for letting me come and do this as well. Tense couple laps there at the end, but that was pretty awesome.
You've now won at 22 different tracks in the Truck Series, 2nd all-time behind Ron Fortiday Jr. What does that say about you being able to go to different kinds of tracks and still have that success?
Yeah, it's been a place that I feel like I've runner-up a lot and always kind of been in the cup between ARCA and truck. I felt like we've had opportunities to win, kind of like a Charlotte track for me, and, you know, finally got it done. Fun race. It's definitely a bit of a pack race, so track position was pretty important at the end to find your teammates to get up front, but that was a lot of fun. I had a blast.
It's time at Michigan.
It is Heim time. We'll go through the full field finishing results here. Again, Corey Heim with the race win. Caden Honeycutt finishing second. Carson Hosevar third. Blaine Riggs fourth. And Chandler Smith rounding out the top 5 and 5th. Sixth place was Christopher Bell with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 7th. Connor Mosak 8th. Jake Garcia 9th. Tyler Ankrum finishes out our top 10. Grant Enfinger in 11th. Gio Ruggiero 12th. 13th for Daniel Hemrick. Brendan Queen 14th. Daniel Dye 15th. Parker Kligerman 16th. Ross Chastain 17th, Tanner Gray 18th, Andres Perez 19th, and Minnie Tyrell in 20th. 21st, Ben Rhodes, Stuart Friesen 22nd, Frankie Muniz 23rd. 24th for Spencer Davis, Cletus McFarland, last truck in the lead lap in 25th. Morgan Baird in 26th, Caleb Costner 27th, Justin Haley in 28th, Corey LaJoy 29th, and Josh Ream 30th. Chris Wright 31st, Christian Eck is 32nd, Cole Bircher 33rd. Spencer Boyd, 34th, Ty Majeski, 35th, and Dawson Sutton, 36th. Those last 4 trucks in the running order DNF today. Those were the only 4 that DNF'd. All right, well, congratulations, Corey Heim, race winner today for the Craftsman Truck Series race at Michigan International Speedway. He is unstoppable in this series, really, really is. Thanks for tuning in here this afternoon for our live commentary coverage. We'll be live again tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I'm forced a habit of me saying that. I will not be live tomorrow. I'll be at the Michigan International Speedway for the NASCAR Cup race. We'll be live again next weekend. Pocono trucks will be off next week. They won't return until San Diego in 2 weeks. But the O'Reilly and Cup Series action all of next weekend. Again, Tricky Triangle, Pocono Raceway for that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the race tomorrow afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a safe night. I'll catch you next time.